Unforgettable stories out of Western Jamaica from the scrapbooks of Adrian Frater. Despite the ugly statistics, especially murders, which has been a feature of Jamaican life for the past 30 years, the country could nonetheless pride itself in the fact that crime against visitors to the island is usually quite low, to the point where regular visitors normally ignore those travel advisors which suggest that Jamaica is not a safe destination. Sadly though, Jamaica is not a perfect place as it relates to visitors, and from time to time, some of them get caught up in the violence that we fear so much. In fact, an incident that occurred in Montego Bay in April 2026 served as a great reminder that trouble sometimes comes to paradise. In this instant, an American tourist, an established Brooklyn-based accountant, who met and married a Jamaican man within 2 months in 2025, was killed on the island, reportedly by the newly minted husband in what was believed to be a jealous rage. An account of the incident, which was featured heavily by the American media, was a major black eye for the Jamaica Tourist Board, with headlines screaming out such as, "A woman from New York was allegedly murdered while celebrating her birthday in Jamaica." In an account of the incident, as was written in an American newspaper, it said that the woman, identified as 35 years old accountant Melissa Kerry Samnott, was dropped off at the Cornwall Regional Hospital in Montego Bay, badly battered and bruised by a man believed to be her husband, Dane Watson, who left the hospital after taking her there. Reports have since surfaced that the woman had established a relationship with another Jamaican man in the short time since he was married, and that her husband had found out, and that his aggressive behavior towards her might have been a result of that. In doing a research on the incidence of extreme violence against visitors to the island, a number of cases, especially those that attract international attention, jumped out at me. Perhaps the biggest case of all is the case of 29-year-old travel writer Claudia Kershak, who disappeared without a trace in Negril on May 27, 2000. One also remembers the 2017 incident in which a New York model, 26-year-old Desiree Gibbon, was found dead in Montego Bay with her throat slashed. There is also the case of Quintara Roca, an American tourist who was discovered dead inside a hotel room in Montego Bay in June 2023. It should also be noted that the victims have not always been women, as in June 2014, Roger Nantu of Killeen, Texas, who was vacationing in Montego Bay, was found dead on a property close to the hotel in what the police describe as a case of suspicious death. In the most recent case involving Samnott, reports are that the 35-year-old American came to the island towards the end of April to meet up with another Jamaican man. In fact, they booked into an Airbnb in the Freeport area of Montego Bay. Reports are that her husband, identified as Dane Watson, found out that she was on the island because he had a tracker on her telephone. He reportedly tracked her to the Airbnb where she was staying and somehow convinced her to leave that location and go to his house in Norwood. Once he arrived at his house, he reportedly used the woman's phone to call the other man, who he accused of having sex with his wife. After making the call, he reportedly began beating the woman using a hammer. In what appeared to be a break in the beating, she managed to get hold of her phone and sent a message to her mother in the United States asking her to call the police, giving her the street plan of the house where she was. Further reports stated that the police went looking for her, but they did not find the house. Sometime later in the night, Watson reportedly took her to the Cornwall Regional Hospital, badly battered and bruised, and left her in a wheelchair. She died shortly after. Watson, who reportedly fled the hospital after leaving her there, was on the run for 3 weeks before he surrendered to the police and was charged for her murder. The incident gave Jamaica a brutal black eye as it was extensively reported in mainstream media in the United States. While Sam Knott's death was big news in the United States and in Jamaica, it paled in comparison to the incident involving Claudia Kershak, who disappeared in Negril on May 27, 2000 without a trace. Being a renowned global travel writer, her disappearance attracted global attention. While her belongings were found intact in her hotel room, and she was the subject of one of the most intense police search in the history of Jamaica. Even with the assistance of trained US investigators who came to the island and joined our local investigators, even bringing in special search dogs, she was never found. And some 2.5 decades later, her disappearance remains a mystery. In the 2017 case of 26-year-old New York-based model Desiree Gibbon, she was reportedly found dead in bushes near Anchovy, several miles away from downtown Montego Bay. Gibbons' remains were reportedly identified by family members who owned a hotel in Montego Bay. Her case remains an unsolved murder as nobody was ever arrested for her death. In the June 27, 2023 case of Quantina Roca, who reportedly came to Jamaica to meet up with a man she had met online, she was found dead in her hotel room after a night of partying. Her boyfriend reportedly found her unresponsive and alerted the police, but it was never determined if foul play was involved in her death. In the case of the lone man who died in 2014, he was identified as 44 years old Roger Nantu of Killeen, Texas. After he was reported missing for 3 days, his body was found in proximity to an hotel in Montego Bay. Police never provide any detailed information of the autopsy on his body, so it's still unclear as to whether he had died of natural causes or he was killed. There are several other cases of visitors dying while on vacation in Jamaica, but those I've listed are the most pronounced ones because they attracted extensive media attention, both locally and internationally. Despite those incidents, Jamaica still remains island paradise for many American visitors who continually come here year after year to enjoy the beauty of the island and the hospitality that comes with it. Unforgettable stories out of Western Jamaica from the scrapbooks of Adrian Freitas. Before you go, please remember to subscribe.